We're calling the Board of Selectmen's meeting to order at 7:04. Selectmen's meetings are subject to being videotaped. Your image and voice may be recorded. All right, we don't have an appointment. Oh, this is a change. We don't-
Gee, right.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh my
We said
God.
right through this.
You do have a 7:30 appointment.
Yeah, no, I say we don't have,
First thing, yeah.
yeah, we don't have an appointment first thing. And what's River Bridge Affordable Housing Packages coming in to talk about that?
They're filing, they won't file.
For
Okay.
River Road West.
Yeah,
This is a precursor for
apartments.
them to,
yeah, okay.
yeah.
So it's the Sennies who are coming in, or?
Cities and Eloise and,
Okay, great. All right then. And we might as well get started. Our, I'm sorry, that's the appointments. All right. We have meetings for open session on July 14th and July 21st, minutes to be approved. I have finally got a chance to take a look at them. I'm ready to vote on them. I don't know how other people, we were all present at each of them, so.
I can vote on them.
Okay,
I
you
can,
ready?
yep.
All right. Then I would accept a motion to approve the minutes of open session on July 14th and July 21st of 2014.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion, question, or comments?
No.
Hearing none, I will take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. We have an approval of reimbursement for the inspector land use clerk mileage of $47.82.
do you want to do those regularly, or would you want me to do that? It's an unusual thing for her to have a reimbursement.
Yeah, no, we can do it.
Okay.
It only takes a minute.
And that was a trip to GOTMS in back.
Oh, yes, for training,
Mhm.
and so that was down to Walpole.
Mhm.
I would take a motion to approve the reimbursement of $47.82 for mileage.
So move.
Second.
Any questions, discussion? Hearing none, I'll accept a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
You gonna sign this one?
Sure.
Okay. The next thing we have here is a list of the town assets, list of the assets that are worth over $5,000. We have to certify these each year. Includes various building, land, equipment. This is subject just to the selectmen's.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Mhm. Okay.
How, did we do this last year?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, who puts the list together? It's just a standard list
June.
we've had right along.
Yeah, June
so
puts it together.
I
and
just,
adds and subtracts, so we have to.
I don't want to be accused of not double checking, but I mean, it's,
Yeah, we could-
it's the same list for.
Well,
years.
I'm sure there are some things that were added here. I
Yeah.
think we've gotten some land since then.
Could we,
Do you want a comparison? Do you want to hold
could you
that?
put it off and let me look at it?
Absolutely.
During the week?
No problem.
I just feel that.
No problem.
I should, that's all. I
Yeah.
don't suspect anything.
There it is. All right. The next one is a property and casualty bill schedule for the addition of the highway backhoe. It's in the amount of $702.
So,
Can I just say that when people get insurance for something, we have in the past always had all insurance go through Peggy. She has always been the keeper of the insurance policies.
Uh-huh.
I don't know that that's been happening
Well,
with
this
Mary.
is through the MIA, our regular, I mean, this is just an.
When we
isn't it?
got a bill, it just said endorsement number blank.
Yeah.
And so before it could be paid, June asked for more detail, and I didn't know what that was for. I know when police and fire typically inform me when they're adding or deleting, or we're actually helping them surplus something. In this case, Keith did, I mean, I knew that the backhoe was purchased last year, but I didn't know that he was putting it on and when that bill was gonna hit.
Okay.
So he purchased in
And,
June.
and how'd they find out about it? Did we gave
Well,
them a
ultimately, I
list?
asked them, I said, could you give me the detail and who signed for it? And when they provided it, they presented that, you know, Keith had filed paperwork and signed as an authorized person. I just didn't know what the bill was for. When the bill shows up for $702, but I already paid the property and casualty for the year, I should be able to know from the
Yeah,
different
you
department
should,
heads.
you should. So where is it that Keith signed there?
Well, all I'm saying is.
It is in there, I provided you, if you'd like me to put my hand on it, I can.
What I would like to do is to have us just send a memo out and
Yeah.
remind everyone that all insurance goes through Mary.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
The chiefs have been helpful in kind of, especially if they're swapping out plates or moving a cruiser to be the new fire command car, they kind of have their own rhythm on that, but they've been copying me on it too,
Yeah.
so I know.
Yeah, and
But
I
I
think
can-
that's fine. I mean, copying is fine as far as I'm concerned, but,
Yeah, but you need to know. You shouldn't be
Yeah.
getting things and not know what they're for.
Is there a reason to think that a better insurance policy might have been gotten?
no.
It's only my,
Think that
anyhow.
No.
This is
Straight
our,
forward,
this is our
straight up.
MIA, it's all of
Yeah,
our equipment
okay.
and everything. It's really
Yeah.
just, we're really talking about notifying them that we have a new piece
Yeah.
of equipment subject to the old
Okay.
insurance policies.
Yep.
The endorsement doesn't change the
Because
policy
you
or the coverage.
you should also
Right.
have
It
a
just-
list of all the
right.
town
Adds
vehicles.
that as an item.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, she also keeps a list of all the town vehicles, Mary. So if she doesn't know that there's something new out there,
Mhm. No, I think it's absolutely fine. So you wanna prepare a note on that?
An email sufficient, or do you want an actual
No,
separate?
an email I think is sufficient.
Just a couple of departments that have vehicles, so,
Mhm.
okay.
Okay. All right, having had that discussion, it is $702. And as I say, this doesn't change the insurance, underlying insurance coverage or anything, it just adds the vehicle deductibles, all of that would be the same. Any other questions? Okay, I'd accept a motion to approve the warrant for $702.
So moved.
second.
Any further discussion or questions?
Nope.
Hearing none, I'll accept a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
I guess I should say I felt awkward signing it without, ordinarily, I guess I would sign them, but that one I didn't feel like
Did Judy have to sign that?
I should,
No, only two.
so thank you.
So I'll have Judy sign this one because she had so much to say about it. All right. Okay, and now we have the approval and signature of the special town meeting warrant.
Can you just vote the motor vehicle refunds that were
There's-
number 3?
Oh, sorry.
And I know it's
Oh,
really.
yes, I got it. All right, we have motor vehicle refunds in the amount of $281.68. I accept a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments or questions? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You can just sign that one. All right. Okay, now we have the special town meeting warrant. It's for the December 8th meeting. Just on the, did you accept the last stuff that came from
On the agricultural.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
his last?
Joel's
little
last
change?
volley came, and everything's incorporated in there. The only thing he put question marks around was who's gonna control the spending on the laptops for the inspectors. And so I drafted that to say that the selectmen would have
Yeah, I think that's
oversight
right.
over that. Diane said she didn't really care, but she just, to date, GOTMS had been under the assessors. But since it's hardware.
Yeah, I think it's hardware and it's going to inspectors that are appointed by us. I think that's fine.
Except for the fire inspector, but vis-à-vis the engineers, I
It should
guess.
probably be under, data systems, which is
Select-
overseen by the select.
Yeah, no, I think I think that makes perfectly good sense. So you wrote it as if it would be
That's what's in
spent by
that
the
version, I think it's
selectmen?
Article 6, it would now
All right.
say. Is it 6?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No, it isn't. So-
Oh. It's for 6,000, that's what it is.
Yeah, I'll get it here. It's, I think, 9. Yeah, funds to be expended by the Board of Selectmen.
And sponsored by the Board of Selectmen.
Mm-hmm, I think that's fine. And then you accepted the last changes that came.
Yes,
There was Joel's and then that last little tweak that came late this afternoon.
from Carl Wickstrom,
from
yes,
Carl
that's in
Wickstrom.
there.
So that's in there,
Yep.
okay? All right. Anybody else have any comments, questions, issues on this one before I ask for a motion? Okay. All right, then I would accept a motion to execute the special town meeting warrant for December 8th at 7:30 in the evening, as presented to the board this evening.
So moved.
Second.
No further discussion or questions, I take it? So I'll call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye. You need to sign it. Walter needs to sign.
Okay.
Do those belong with that?
Yes, but I want a copy of this.
Wanna go down and make a copy?
Sure.
Just this?
Yep.
Awful lot of arrows there.
Yep. 4 times. There you go. All right. Do you want to talk about something else while you're signing that? Or
Sure, go
This
ahead.
is the next thing on the, wait, we gotta get her back for taking
Sorry.
notes, so. Where'd you send her? Out for coffee?
Yep, that's right. Drinks.
Drinks, all right.
All right.
All right, the next thing we have on the agenda is the notice of non-exercisable option on the Benson property on Jones
Mhm.
Road. Have Conservation Commission come to a view on that, or? are they
Yeah,
still-
I don't know why it's still around. I know we've discussed it thoroughly. We have no intention of buying it. We've had a vote on it. I know it'll be in minutes. I can't remember.
Just
what-
needed to come back, that's all.
What do you want?
Yeah, you did that a couple weeks ago, it just
Okay.
needed to come back.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, fine.
Yeah, no, I just wanted
No,
to-
we don't.
Okay. All right
We
then.
don't wanna buy that.
We are typically guided by the Conservation Commission on that. No one else in municipal government has indicated any interest in the property. All right, then I would take a motion to issue a non-exercise of our 61A, Section 14 option on the Benson property between Highland Street and Jones Road.
So moved.
Second.
Sawyer Hill Road, sorry.
Right.
Sawyer Hill Road. Any further discussion or comments? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Only one copy?
Yes.
Okay.
If you want another original, I can.
No, I don't. No, I just was asking. the professional services agreement for MRI. I did take a very, very quick scan of this. It's pretty basic agreement. I looked for the scope of work seemed to be right.
It was broad enough, so I think it include everything that we need to do.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Just check one more thing. In 28,650, that was consistent with that was the one thing I meant to check.
Yes. We got 30,000 as
Okay. All right, and that was consistent with what the bid was, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I think the highest was 29. Oh, yeah, I gotta finish writing up that. Did you ever send notes to the other two companies saying thank you? Yeah, okay.
Now, we have to write up a justification since it was the lowest bid, correct?
You didn't put something on file.
Mm-hmm.
I have all my notes. Partially
Good.
written.
You can print it up.
There was only one section, and it wasn't in here, that I wondered about, and it doesn't mean we can't execute this now. I want to put in something that would be appropriate to, one, the fact that the work product, the records and so on, remain sort of property of the town, that their
Oh, yeah,
work product
sure.
would become, so it was
Yeah.
work for hire and not product. And then I wanted also to put something in about privacy. I mean, obviously they'll share it with us, and if it becomes a public record, that's fine, but I don't want them having the ability to share work product or content outside of the study. I wonder how people, and I think we can do that by just attaching a letter referencing this agreement. But
You mean you don't want the study to be given out?
No. I mean, we can give the study out.
But you don't want them to?
I don't want them to, yeah, I just want them to acknowledge that, I mean, they'll obviously give the results to us, but some acknowledgement that, because there may be names in notes and stuff like
No,
that.
I
and
think
was
that's a good
concerned
idea.
about privacy
Yeah.
issues.
Okay.
Yeah.
And again, I don't think that'll be a problem, and I don't think it should prevent us from signing this, and I can.
Can you pencil it in?
Yeah, I can gin up like a one-paragraph addendum, just a letter that refers to this, okay?
Okay.
That all right?
Sure.
Okay. All right, having said that, I would accept a motion to approve and to execute the professional services agreement with MRI. This is to support the study of public safety.
So moved.
Second.
Any further comments, questions? Okay.
They've been doing some information gathering, haven't they?
I don't know if they've actually connected with our chiefs
No,
yet.
not yet, they haven't reached out to us yet.
Okay.
I think they're probably waiting for
Yeah.
this. But-
Yeah, okay.
They were gonna start this week, so.
Mhm. Oh, it's just Monday, I'm gonna sign it now.
Right.
Can I have the warrant, the special town meeting warrant?
Sure, oh yes, there you go.
Might want to sign.
You might. All right then, hearing none, I'll accept a vote. All those in favor of executing the agreement?
Aye.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to go. Sure.
This church, can I sit down?
Yeah.
Don't want to get near us.
No, it's more the camera. Wow.
one on the last page behind that.
I need a vacation.
Oh, definitely.
Disney, yeah, that's good.
Excellent.
Good cold.
Oh, and you know that's a $49.
Yeah. Oh, we've had a couple long ones lately.
I know.
All right.
I read the incident report on that number 9.
Yeah, we'll be talking about that. There you go.
Maybe we sign.
Just two. I think we'll wait to move on to 9 until after we have our meeting, because I think that'll take a little while to chat about.
Okay.
Yeah, he's on salary. We don't have to invite him.
Yeah, that's right. All right. While we have just a couple minutes, we'll hold off until 7:30, just in case somebody does show up further. I will not be here next Monday. I think I had said that before, but if I hadn't, I'm
Are the
sorry.
deer kills going on the road?
I will be in London from Saturday until the following Friday. So
Not real bad.
I'll still
Who's my
be
name?
getting emails, but,
Okay.
I think it's like a couple. I'll double check.
okay.
We'll get you a call. Don't worry.
This is,
Thomas,
the rut's on this week, the old
What's that?
bucks will be running around crazy, there'll be a lot of kills.
Yeah, I see
Judy,
them
you'll
out
be
in the
here.
morning
Do
when
you?
I'm driving,
Do you?
because, you know, I leave the
Zoom
house,
all.
Yeah.
I leave the house about 5:15.
Do you?
There isn't a single morning that I don't see
Really?
somewhere between here. I see them along 62 sometimes,
Yeah.
and then the other place I see them is the road that runs from Stowe Center to South Acton.
Oh, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, near where that ball
Oh,
field is.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yep.
Is it hunting season?
yeah. Actually,
You gonna post that on Facebook?
Hunting season?
Well, because people wander around and
If you could give me some succinct warnings or
he
information,
should,
Oh, you can? Okay.
I give you a whole.
or if you
breakdown.
post it, I'll just repost it.
Okay.
You're gonna be here, Walter, on the 17th? Okay. I've been promised pheasants from the Conservation Commission chairman.
All right,
I'm looking forward to it.
all right.
okay.
Okay then, it being 7:30, we have an appointment to discuss the River Bridge Affordable Housing Package. Come on up, whoever's representing it.
sure. Hi, how you doing?
Great. Thank you for putting this on the agenda. My name is Christopher Senni. I'm one of the principals at River Bridge. And with me tonight is Brian Bush, our housing partner. We've worked with Brian now for the better part of a year, getting ready to build the 205 dwellings that we're permitted to build at River Bridge. And this is Maureen O'Hagan. Together, the Sennis and Bushes hired Maureen as our consultant to prepare an application to the state, the Department of Housing and Community Development, to review our plans to restrict 84 of our units at River Bridge as part of an affordable housing program. Of those 84, 21 units will be leased at rates considered by the state to be affordable. By virtue of section 730 of our own bylaws, 25% of those 21, or 15, or 6, will be leased at rates affordable to someone making 50% of area median income, so sort of a lower tier. And then 75% of those 21 or 15 will be leased at rates that the state considers affordable for someone making 80% of area median income. And by setting this program up the way we have, the town gets credit for all 84 of those units. Those will be deed restricted to stay rental, they can never be converted to a condominium, and deed restricted to stay in compliance with a recorded regulatory agreement, which Maureen has been drafting and we've been editing back and forth. Just by way of further background, Brian Bush and his family and a partner by the name of Tom Watson own about 1,400 apartments, about 700 of them in the Lowell, Massachusetts area, and the other 700 up in Portland, Maine. Brian has been a personal friend for many years. He lives in Westboro with me. He's a member of the planning board. We were on Westboro's master plan update committee together. And he has watched my brother and I launch Riverbridge for many years. And when we were able to accomplish the rezoning we did last fall in November, our discussions became more serious and we signed a joint venture agreement. So we're thrilled to have Brian as our housing partner. We do have a term sheet from a bank that provides a debt financing for all of the dwellings. We are putting in equity ourselves. Matt and I are contributing the land underneath the apartments, and Brian and his business are contributing cash. And so we hope to begin the apartments in the spring. As you may recall, our development agreement requires that we stay ahead of the market rate units with the affordable units so that we never put the town in a worse position with regard to the subsidized housing inventory. We have met with the housing partnership. They've reviewed the package that we're presenting to you tonight, and we hope to get this on its way to the state fairly quickly. I think it takes 60 or 90 days for them to approve, and our goal is to get our 84-unit affordable housing program permitted by the state by the spring so that we can start construction.
Okay.
And so I'd like to turn it over to Brian and Maureen.
Yes, I don't have a whole lot more to add, other than there was also a stipulation that for the affordable units be ground floor accessible, which we've accommodated in this package. Just for general information, the rent range from a one-bedroom 50% AMI unit would be $878 per month, and excuse me, a two-bedroom 80% for 4 people would be $1,309. So that's the monthly rent range you're looking at. That translates to income levels between 34,000 roughly and 64,000 for those.
How does that compare to the market rate, roughly?
So the highest two-bedroom would be $1,389. We think the market rate's going to be around $1,950 for that unit. Of those, there's also 3 pools of applicants. When after this gets approved, before anyone actually ever lives there, we go through a marketing and lottery plan. That's why Maureen is on board. The state has pretty strict requirements about who can run that and how that's run. And there are 3 pools that the applicants for these units go into. There's a local, open, and handicap. The local preference will be 15 of those 21 units. Open is 2 and the handicap is 4. And again, Maureen her firm will run that marketing and fair housing.
Is local Berlin or just the area that's surrounding towns, or?
Maureen can probably answer that.
It's currently living in the town of Berlin, working in the town of Berlin, be it for the town or another company that's located in the town, or going through the Berlin school systems if you have children in the school system.
Okay.
Those are the 3 local preferences.
So I think that's pretty much a general overview. Obviously, the packages, take all that to read.
No. I have one question about the regulatory agreement. I know that historically, there was a flaw in the regulatory agreements that would basically void them so that the deed restriction would not attach in the event that title passed in foreclosure rather than a conveyance from the special permittee, and I presume that this regulatory agreement will not have that flaw in it.
It does not.
Okay, so it would bind somebody taking title in foreclosure or by other legal process, not simply by conveyance from the permittee, correct? And we will be very interested in reviewing that particular point, because we wouldn't want these things to escape us by virtue of some transfer of title other than sale from you guys, or rather rental.
Yeah, but we'll make sure that that
Mhm.
gap has been closed.
Mhm.
I don't remember, I've read the agreement, but I don't remember.
It's been changed.
It's been changed.
Yeah, my understanding is that DHCD is no longer approving regulatory agreements that don't account for that kind of transfer.
So a bank taking back the property
would have to
honor
would
this
have to
arrangement.
honor the arrangement,
Just
not
that-
converting it to condominiums, maintaining it as rental, and so we want to be very sure.
Well, I'm fairly certain it happened only because the deed writer they changed 7 or 8 years ago, where the deed writer for homeownership does survive foreclosure,
Mhm.
and the regulatory agreements are not exactly the same for homeownership
Mhm,
and rental,
mhm,
but very
mhm.
similar. So my guess is that change was made in the regulatory agreement as well, and
Yeah, well,
I would
we'll
have
be
to
checking
check.
that, because
That's
that's a
fine.
point of concern for us. Obviously, this is a very important component of the affordable housing here, so we want to be sure that once we got it in the box, it stays in the box. All right? There any other questions right now, or anything from the board? I'm going to ask,
No, I think the issue you just brought up is the most important thing, dealing with that. I'm glad you did, yeah.
No, I'm just happy you're moving along.
We are
Yeah.
too. We're sorry it's taken us longer than we planned. There are two benchmarks that would put the town into a protective status. One is this agreement and the approval from DHCD. The other is drawing a building permit for these units. So if we can work over the winter to get the permits from DHCD and start construction in the spring, that would then, regardless of the pace of construction, give a year's period when the ZBA would not have to entertain a comprehensive
Yep.
permit. And that is our goal. I mean, we have been trying to get there. We've taken longer to get there than we wanted, but if we can get the approval from the state and get the building permit strong, we achieve that.
That's great.
Great.
Now, is this to be a LIP?
This is,
Is this a LIP?
it's a local
No,
action
it's a
unit.
loop, LAU.
LAU.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Because it's not a 40B.
Right, right,
No.
okay. Does the Housing Partnership or anybody else in the audience have anything to say or questions to ask?
We support, the Housing Partnership met, and we supported it, and we are the ones that asked that the handicap accessible be on the bottom floor, because when the town does go without electricity for a week, and you're up on the 3rd floor, the elevators don't work. And even if you have to go to a shelter, after 3 or 4 days, you can at least get into your apartment and get a new, fresh set of clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And
No, absolutely. I remember reading the stories of people who were in, high rises in New Jersey and so on during Hurricane Sandy, and then they got, stuck on the 30th floor without anything. So yeah, I think that makes good sense. Any other questions or comments? Now, are you seeking action from us tonight, or is this?
yes.
there is an application that needs to be signed by the town. I don't know what parts of this were distributed to you.
No, none of it.
None of
We
it.
None of it.
we were not given it, I don't think, were we?
Yeah,
I
I
read
gave
something
you-
online.
I
You
gave you
sent
the
us
copy.
something
Some
last.
literature, but not a contract.
yes, and it has, for the chairman to sign, and then myself, although I'm no longer the chairman. So Fran and I are the only two around that can
Yeah.
sign.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's it, that would be,
This is it?
if it were in there, it's there.
You don't, doesn't look like you have the full packet.
No, we don't have
I
that.
don't appear to.
This is what needs to be, this is the LAU,
Because the state won't accept it unless.
Oh, no, I mean, that's what I was
That,
asking.
that just documents that it's friendly.
So this page, that top page right there, we need the signature of the chair of the board of selectmen.
Okay. May I see what precedes it?
That's the, oh, it's just the
Thanks.
cover sheet, I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's just the cover sheet from DHCD.
Bear with me for a minute.
Yeah, sure.
Um, I have to, I mean, given, you know, the issue that I just, right, how time sensitive is this? I mean, because I'm looking at this and basically I'm signing, if we sign this, an indication of support, not a general support for the project, but a support for the project as indicated in attached documentation, which for instance.
The regulatory agreement is not attached, because we haven't heard back. So that's not attached, that can go separately. A
Okay.
red line version, I believe, has been sent
Yep.
to,
Chris marked one up, I don't know if that has moved on.
has the regulatory agreement come to the town?
No.
Yeah, so what happens with the regulatory agreement, a red line version is created, which has been done, which is the draft that
Yeah.
shows all the changes.
Yeah.
That's sent to the town for review. Once the town reviews it and keeping it redlined, then the red line version is sent to DHCD. They will review it
Okay.
after you have, and if it's acceptable, when it's acceptable to everybody, they will issue a fresh copy, and then it comes around for signature. 3 copies will be signed and executed.
Okay. Because I mean, looking at this, which says, you know, please
It's
attach
not
the
included.
regulatory
Yep.
agreement, and then I'm, you know, signing something that
It's not
I'm
included.
supporting that, so I just, I think, you know, I'm willing to sign this, but I would like the record to say that in signing this, we, you know, are signing this as general support for the application and reserve rights to review the legal documentation
Absolutely.
and particularly the legal restrictions, okay?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
All right,
sounds good to
so
me.
we'll put that as part of the vote for authorizing.
Yeah.
That's okay? All right, any other questions, comments?
Nope.
Okay. Hearing none, I would take a vote, and again, that vote reserves the rights that I indicated. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thanks.
First question I'll get asked tomorrow is groundbreaking. Huh? Any vague idea within 5 months, one way or the other?
No, we have a lot of work to do over the winter to be ready. Our
Yeah.
goal is the spring,
Yeah.
end of first quarter, beginning of second quarter of 15. And that's our goal.
Yeah.
You wanna come up here and put your,
The roadway's moving along fast.
It is.
So paving the end of the winter, is what it sounds like?
I don't know, I haven't checked with them, but I see that the telephone poles have all
Yep.
been
Yep.
put in now, so that, I don't know
Which
how
is
long it
unusual,
takes
yeah.
for the various carriers to move their lines over, but
Yeah.
that's a big step to get those poles. Very
yeah.
complicated.
It's- I know what, a small thing like that can stop a big project.
It's kind of
Yeah,
surprising
even
how
down
wide
here,
it
right
is.
up
Yeah.
I sort of pictured these improvements happening in the existing River
Yeah.
Road West, and really, those poles that we're removing are in the middle of the,
Yeah.
the new width of this.
Yeah.
Tom, do you think your reservation needs to be noted on that at all, or not on that, just in our record?
Nope, I think we have the minutes.
Can we scan that?
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
Did you ever see Hudson when they had the poles in the road over the winter?
Holes in the road?
Well,
Oh,
the
yeah, on
phone
Washington
poles,
Street where they were.
They widened it, but the poles were
Right.
still in the road.
So they were
A
plowing.
letter? Is there a letter that went with us, an actual letter?
Just the top cover sheet right there.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
So at least we got our poles moved.
But we've got the new ones in. I don't
Yeah,
know how
we can't take
quickly
the old ones out
carriers are
yet.
gonna- Yeah, I worry about that, and I remember the center of Northborough, for the longest
Oh,
time,
yeah.
after they redid Main
Yeah.
Street, those old poles stayed there for
Yeah.
the longest time, so we're all at the mercy of.
Absolutely.
It's not, the town of Northborough can't make it happen faster, I don't think Riverbridge can make it happen
Well,
faster.
that was actually a state project too.
Was it
That was
state? Oh, well, maybe that's why. I don't know, maybe it's harder at the state level.
I don't know, they like putting poles in, and we got a lot of double poles around town that are,
Yeah.
But the state's been very helpful, and the process of processing requisitions is going very smoothly.
Good.
We're very pleased about it.
Excellent, yeah.
I was with Rodell family, our hotel partner today in New Hampshire, and Fred Rodell Senior commented again on your nice comments, I said,
Oh,
All righty.
all right, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thanks for
Thank you.
coming, everybody.
it's exciting.
Have a nice
Thanks a lot. Have a good
Yes,
night.
indeed.
Yeah,
Thanks,
you
you
too.
too. Yeah. The appointments, calendar. Okay. Next on the agenda, we have a discussion of an after-hours service event at the Flat Penny.
So did you have a chance to read
I-
the report?
did.
I did read the
Um,
report.
So this, on November 2nd, an officer observed that, after 1 AM, they still had the open sign lit, there were people there. When he went in, alcohol still in front of people, even the cashier still bringing stuff up. Eventually, the restaurant was cleared out, but then even more of a concern for me is a short time later, the officer leaves and then encounters one of the patrons and they end up being arrested for drunk driving. Didn't stop right away. Hudson ends up, placing the passenger in protective custody because they went all the way to Hudson. It's not the first incident that I've experienced with the Flat Penny. Back in March, I had an incident. The officer went in that time. There was no alcohol present, but it was like 1:42 that day, and there were still patrons there. And I think it's something that we need to discuss with the management of the Flat Penny.
Mhm.
I think timing is probably good. I mean, I would expect in the next few weeks, you'll probably see an application for renewal of their license anyways, so it might work in conjunction to bring them in and discuss it.
Well, I wonder, frankly, I wonder whether, and I don't know, but I certainly, in situations with a liquor store, if someone's underage, or something, we, as the licensing board, have the ability to suspend a license for a period of time.
Yeah.
My feeling is that this is serious enough that if we have that capacity, I would seriously like to consider suspending the liquor license for some period of time. I'm not talking about, weeks or months,
Right.
but at least a couple of days or a weekend to get their attention on this.
Yeah, do we need to have a hearing and have them in
Yeah.
to discuss that?
But I think, the hours are the hours. I think it's important for public safety. I think it is in a neighborhood, and I think it's important, given the fact that you have some uses that are cheek by jowl with each other, and I think people need to attend to their hours. And I read this and I really,
I found it very
Yeah.
disturbing when they said that he couldn't close because the patrons wouldn't let him.
Right.
That's very disturbing because,
If you're not in control of your own establishment.
well, and
And you have
he
a-
does know who to call if he gets into
That's
trouble.
right.
Exactly, and that's really what I want it to be. I don't want them to be afraid to call us.
Mhm.
If there's a problem, they need to call us, and we need to be able to work with them on that.
is that under the same ownership it's been
Yeah.
2 and 3
Yeah.
years ago?
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What, on the first incident, how stern was the warning, or?
I spoke with the manager that
Mhm.
day afterwards, just to let, he, there were some other concerns that day. He'd actually called to file a complaint against the officer that responded, yet the officer he filed the complaint against wasn't working.
Oh, really?
So there was some concern there on my part. You know, I discussed with him the fact, you know, that basically, yeah, same thing, the hours.
Yeah.
And that, you know, that there could be some consequences to the liquor license if that wasn't adhered to. And then there were no problems. I mean, generally, you go by there 10, 11 o'clock at night, they're closed.
Yeah.
It's very rare that they are open late, but just because they stay open later doesn't mean they can stay open as late as they want.
What would you recommend something over a weekend or?
Well, I think we need to have a hearing first.
Yeah, I
right?
Yeah.
think we should discuss it with them, and, you know, and like I said, I waited, I didn't reach out to them at all, I wanted to discuss this with
Yeah.
you first.
Mhm.
You know, and I'd be interested to hear, you know, their side of the story and
Yeah.
see what
No, and I
happened.
would too,
Let's
and
get the hearing.
I'm not presuming to close, but I read this, and on the surface of it, it strikes me as serious enough to
Right.
say, you know, take a weekend off and think about this. But that's not a foregone conclusion, it's just an inclination.
And I just want to make sure that they understand that we're here to work with them and help them.
Mhm.
That if it gets close to 1 o'clock and people won't leave, just call us. You know, we're not here to put them out of business, we're not here to get them and get their patrons. We want to make sure their patrons get home safe and that they're able to safely run their business.
Yep.
Don't you usually, now, I haven't closed the bar in a while, but don't you usually have a last call, like half an hour before?
Yeah.
So that people finish up and
And move on.
move on.
Has that been your experience?
Long ago and far away.
What is it they say in the English pubs? Hurry up, please, it's time.
What did they say?
They say, hurry up, please, it's time, because they do their last call about 20 minutes or half an hour before closing, and then as the closing bell rings, you know, they're like 5 minutes before, it's like, hurry up.
Now, don't bartenders all have to take a course now so that they don't serve people who are?
Tips training, and generally, our relationship has been good with them. I
Okay.
mean, just a few weeks ago, they had a patron that came in and was already intoxicated. They called us.
Good.
You know,
Okay.
we helped her get home and made sure that they, you know, they refused to serve her. So it does seem like it's somewhat of an isolated event, but we need to make sure that it doesn't happen again.
Okay. So, how do we call, do we have to take a vote to call a?
Yeah, I would accept a vote to call a hearing to examine this apparent breach of the hours of operation of the liquor license for Black Penny
Yeah,
Restaurant.
yeah, I'd so move on that.
Second.
I guess I would, what's our, I think
Well,
all
after the
three of us should
17th,
be.
it'd be the 24th.
Okay, the 24th is the, and what do we have on the schedule that night?
Only a tentative executive session with Attorney Mayo regarding the litigation,
Okay, then that seems like a reasonable
Sure.
night to do it, the 24th.
7:15.
Shouldn't take 15
What time is
minutes.
Mayo coming in, do we know? yet?
It's not confirmed, and I'm not sure where that stands with y'all, but she wanted that night.
Yeah, I mean, that,
Yeah, you wanna put her first, or?
Hmm?
It's executive session, you could put her, you wanna put her early in the meeting, or?
no, I'll do her late.
Okay. 7:15 for this? 30?
Yeah, let's say 7:30.
Okay.
Is that all right?
Yeah,
Is that all right?
Yeah.
Because that way, give us half an hour to get a lot of the business out of the way if we're gonna do this, and we're gonna have a session. And my sense is that there may be some significant stuff to talk about on the Johnson litigation by then, okay?
Thank you.
Alright.
Just briefly
Well,
before I go,
yes.
I don't know if you saw the email Mary might have forwarded today. Next week on the 20th, I'm having a representative from Combis come in from the state.
Oh, I saw that,
Their
yeah.
automated procurement
yeah.
system. And they're just gonna go through the system, how it works, and getting us, you know, enrolled.
Mhm.
So if it's something you're available and interested in.
On
it's,
what date is
10
that?
a.m. on the 20th. Once I kind of get a tentative head count, I'll figure out where what room we may need to use. But, you know, we've had a lot of discussion at the FAC meetings of procurement, the procurement laws and things like
Mhm.
that, I think it'll benefit us all to.
That's great.
To have them in. So, thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good
Yes.
evening.
see you later.
I'll see ya.
All right. We have a statement of policy for payment of the alternate electrical and plumbing and gas inspectors. statement of the policy is primary inspectors are paid 95% of the fees collected at the end of each month. Any inspection performed by an alternate inspector during that month is paid the following month by deduction from the 95% paid to the primary inspector at the rate of $25 a visit.
Could I chime in?
Yeah,
The idea of the following month isn't necessary, it could even be the same month.
what I'm concerned about is what if we had no revenues the next month? Aren't we then in the same situation that we're
The
dealing with
next
now?
available month, I suppose. But yes, that's true, that could happen.
Because that's what we're, I mean, that,
Why can't they be paid the same month?
They could, that's why the following month isn't necessary language. It could be the next immediate available
and so
month.
you were the
Funds-
ones who wrote you were the one who wrote this, or this came from?
Peggy wrote that.
Peggy wrote that, all right.
I like short and sweet, and it's also, the mission here is just to get Mr. Montero paid.
I thought this was pretty much what we voted, except that,
You didn't vote this yet.
I thought what we had discussed when the inspectors came in, we had said how it should be done.
Right, and then it was supposed to be followed with a policy, which never materialized, but June suggested one. We were gonna work on one. June's is pretty good too. But Peggy's is just to the point of getting Dennis paid, and if you want to tinker with it beyond that point, there really has not been any instance where this has ever arisen for quite some time. But Mr. Montero's been waiting to be paid since July. Unless
Do we
you
have
don't
money
wanna-
in the fund to pay him?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with that,
We
except
should
that
pay.
following month thing. Just take
Yeah, it
out
doesn't need to be
following
full.
month and have him get paid that month. I don't see why he couldn't be paid the same month.
It's whenever it comes in. So if he did work in July and the invoice came in August for whatever reason, he could be paid. It doesn't really matter, it doesn't need to be tied to any one month. It can come out of the primary inspector's pay, whatever, whenever.
Okay, so now this would read, the primary inspectors are paid 95% of the fees collected at the end of each month. Any inspection performed by an alternate inspector that month.
Will be paid out of the 95%.
That's right.
Period.
Yeah,
In
no,
general.
yeah, but I think we need just a little something else. I think we need to say that it's the duty of the primary inspector to inform us when they make their claim for payment, because otherwise, how do we know?
Would the alternate provide some kind of email or at least an invoice, and then the primary would approve that? Because otherwise, none of us here have any idea when he.
Well, that's what I mean.
called.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying, part of this problem was we didn't know what was happening. Do we need a sentence saying the administrative step that needs to be taken?
The primary inspector will be responsible for all
Documentation.
Accounting.
reporting.
accounting, documentation,
Mhm.
whatever.
Why is it that Montero didn't get paid?
This is.
Did the person who was gonna get the 95% take the 95% and not pay Montero?
Yeah, so it used to be by side agreement, but that didn't happen, the payment.
Well, that seems a little odd that that happened all of a sudden. Huh.
But even though there used to be side agreements, there's kind of a feeling that when someone's representing the town as an alternate, they're a town employee, even if it's just per diem, and that their payment should be coming through the town books and not.
Oh, yeah, that's what June wants, right? Sure.
Yep. Actually, Dennis Montero said that's how he operates as an alternate in 2 other communities, on the books. Submits an invoice or a timesheet.
Or will this set that up?
This is a quick way to make he has 5 claims, 5 days from July, to be paid.
All right, to get him paid for that, but from now on,
This could work, depending on what he's drafting.
Yeah, just a minute.
Yep. As June says, you can always tweak it later, but let's get him paid because
Mhm,
it's
That's fine.
former. And luckily, it doesn't wrap around fiscal years, so get rid of this.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about instances where someone is trying to submit an invoice at the end of June, you have to encumber some money
I'm
to.
not gonna worry about that quite now yet, because we're
Yeah.
paying them right now.
Yep,
There's a way
yep.
to do it,
Yep.
and I don't think it affects this. All right, so what I have done is I've left it the way we read it. So primary inspectors are paid 95% of fees collected at the end of each month. Any inspection performed by an alternate inspector during that month is paid by deduction from the 95%. To be paid to the primary inspector at the rate of $25 per visit. As part of their monthly submission for compensation, the primary inspector shall be responsible each month to submit a schedule of payments due the secondary inspector, or shall indicate that no such payments are due.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay, so we'll just add that as a second sentence. Then we have an administrative.
And the accountant directly pays the.
Yeah, I mean, this is
Sure.
just, yeah.
Yep.
And as I say, it doesn't change any of that.
Right,
This is just,
right.
okay?
Julie prepares payroll, so that would be something he'd give her so that she could prepare payroll,
Yeah.
that's
Yep.
right.
Yeah, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
all right. I would accept a motion to establish the policy as just discussed.
So moved.
Second.
Any further comments,
No.
discussions? Okay, hearing none, I would accept a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
That shouldn't be coming back
And that'd be nice.
now.
Okay. All right. Now, we get to goal setting.
Ooh.
And the first thing I'd like to say is you inserted one of Walter's goals into my goals, but that's okay, I support it
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, I couldn't understand it.
Conservation
I
land?
was thinking-
No, it's
Good
No.
under
minds
number
think
It's like
one,
Oh my God.
you put,
It's looked like when you were cutting and
Oh.
pasting, you
I was in a, yeah.
you hit
I was
another
multitasking,
duplicate.
not
But
very
I
well.
support that, so I don't mind if it's under mine, too, Walter, so. Do we want to take a 5-minute break, or just want to jump into this?
Do you want to take a 5
I
minute?
You
wanna
wanna take a break? take a break.
All right, thanks. We're continuing the meeting, and we decided that with all that we get involved with on a week-to-week basis, it was good at some point to sit down and do some goal setting, things that we'd like to do in this next year, or even probably some of them extending into the longer run. And it's symptomatic of what our schedule has been, that we put off this goal setting for how many months now. So I think I'm glad that we have a chance
Took a while to think it over.
chat about it.
Yeah.
I guess I will, why don't I start on my left? Judy, do you want to talk about yours?
Sure. So, my first goal was to look for opportunities for potential collaboration on information technology and human resources with comparable towns and/or the school district. Now, last June, Dennis Farabee, the treasurer, and I got together with someone from Central Mass Regional Planning, and they were going to look into regionalizing HR with the town of Boylston or the school system.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of got pushed way into the back of the queue where the regionalization study took priority, so, I don't know. Well,
I mean, I might add to that too, and the service that Tom was talking about as well, sort of, central purchasing or whatever, but maybe even add to that the idea of, sort of administrative services like purchasing, because I do think we have to be alive to,
there are co-ops all around.
Yeah.
There's the French River Co-op,
Yeah.
there's a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be worthwhile as well, because I think there are things that we can do that are around the edges administratively that really, that still keep control, actually, delivery of services here, but, take account of either a combination of purchasing power or shared resources for support, because
Well, the human resources part is just so complex anymore that, Dennis was saying, you just can't keep up with it.
no, I agree. And if we're very lucky that Dennis takes the lead on that, because
Yeah.
we're, if not him, we're the personnel committee, so I'm very thankful he's willing to do that, but I also recognize that's a lot of freight
Yep.
to pull, and I'm sure other towns are experiencing the same thing.
Uh-huh.
So I'm
While you brought it, Dennis does an incredible amount of work.
he certainly does.
Should give him some sort of recognition. He's really sharp.
My town
Does a
just
lot of
hired
research.
an assistant town administrator / HR director,
Uh-huh,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, and that's certainly one way to go. I'd certainly like to look at the idea of shared resources on that score before.
Right, exactly. I mean, a lot of people throw that out there. I really think we need to document
And do a comparison, because
comparison, right.
maybe
Just-
part-time dedicated is no more expensive than sharing, some full-time resource among 4 towns, but we don't know that, we gotta, okay? In what sort of time frame would you like to look at? I mean, it occurs to me that this is probably a task along the lines in terms of order of magnitude as our public safety study. Do we want to
Well,
look
I
at doing
mean,
this
we
6
still-
months from now, starting it?
We
Starting
still
early?
have the application in with Central Mass to have them look at the regionalization part for HR.
Mm-hmm,
I think Dennis had talked to her and asked her where we were in her queue. I'll talk to Dennis or call
Okay.
and see where we are for that part.
yeah, because if we could get at least that piece going. I mean, my own feeling is that over the next 3 to probably 4 months, it's probably wise to focus on the second of your goals, because that one's on the road, funded and in process. But my feeling is if we can get a piece of that first one going.
Well, the information technology, we have the data system study group, we're meeting
Yep.
again Wednesday night.
And that's the 4th one that you're talking about, right? Or,
Well, I mean, it's.
the 4th one is really sort of a
It's
piece of the first
also
one,
a
yeah.
piece of the first
Yeah.
one, because there's the backup, regionalized backup systems. I don't know if you saw that. There was
Oh, yeah, from DLS.
in DLS's newsletter, they talked a little bit about this backup program they have. But I don't think that we can do anything with that until we've
Yeah,
had more time with the data system study group and to
Mhm.
see.
okay. So,
So,
what I'm hearing then is the sort of short run is to get the information technology committee, working, speccing, determining needs and stuff like that, which is
number
groundwork we need.
number 4.
Yeah, number 4. And I would say, what I'm hearing is we can get a start on that, which is groundwork for that portion of 1.
Yep.
And that the second thing to do in the short run on that is to check the availability of CMRP
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
the regional HR issue, and then sort of take it from there once we know does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I think the second of yours is, I think all of us had that one on, and we are in the process of doing that study. And I think this really has to be a focus for us over the next calendar quarter.
Well, it's gonna take them 12 weeks, is that what they said? To
Well,
do the
15.
study?
Is it
12 to 15, 12 weeks?
No, that's
Yeah,
not the
and-
impact on the budget for fiscal year 16.
Hmm?
It probably would be coming in time for fiscal year 16.
There might, my feeling is that there might be some, some.
Big ticket.
No, I mean, I have no idea. My
Yeah.
feeling is there'd be some, but I don't think we're going to be able to effect any kind of reorganization in time to get it on the
May
annual
town.
town meeting
So
warrant.
maybe we have a September one.
Maybe. And then as that develops, I think we're gonna probably have to have, a number of meetings, forums, discussions of that, once their study is done. And that seems like it's gonna be, February, March of next year.
What day, when does the warrant close?
Early March, late February, early March.
Valentine's Day,
Valentine's Day?
around Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I mean, I
Although
think
we've
it can
opened
go
it-
as late as.
We've opened it,
I think it can go as late as
Yeah.
mid-March, but.
well, we've opened it up for a week after we've closed it for 1 year.
Yep.
We used to go to press with the rest of the
Yeah.
town.
But it
But I
It's
do
not
think, I
final.
think that
Final until.
if you're talking about a,
Later in
a
February.
study
I
that's
mean-
gonna take,
Town meetings
May.
in May, so I think you have,
let's say, it's really mid-November
Yeah.
now when it's starting, so mid-December is 1 month, mid-January, mid-February for finishing.
Mhm.
Mid-February is only, it's 2.5 months before annual town meeting, and I think that may be, it's something I don't think we can do.
I think we're
I
just
think
gonna have to
we
see.
won't have nothing that we can do, but I think major reorganization probably gonna require a little more socialization than a month or two.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are ready to go for it, though.
Yeah, oh, no, and I agree, I mean,
Yes.
that's why we're having the
Yeah.
study, but I also, the old saying is sin in haste, repent at leisure, in terms of reorganizing things that.
okay.
Okay? But I think all of us had that, have that as a priority.
Yeah.
It's a little hard to imagine the actual steps until that study
Until we
gets
get
further
something,
along, but.
yep.
I
And
think
then
we're all-
develop policies and procedures for spending.
Yes, and I think that we need to do, I would think we need to do that by,
July 1st.
well, I wonder about that, because
Yeah,
if we're
right,
gonna put
yeah.
stuff through, a,
Did
My-
you say
my-
July 1st? Is that what you said?
Well, I mean, if you want people to spend money out of that for July 1st, for next fiscal year, then you should have it done.
by January 1st.
Yeah, I mean, right now, I'm working on the senior veterans,
Okay.
tax work-off program because,
Well, do you want me to take a crack at that, using the,
well, I can give you a
community
stack
reinvestment?
of paperwork.
Yeah, if you give me a
that
stack, I
thick, and
can-
you can work something from it. I mean, the problem I found with the community preservation was that, I couldn't find my sheet of paper that listed all the groups that were in there, was community preservation is pretty well defined. You've got historical, you've got open space, and you've got housing.
Mhm.
And the state has already said what you need to spend each piece on. So I think that we have to come up with how we would rate these projects.
Yep, yep. All right, well, why don't you flip that to me, and why don't I try to do this by, it's the 11th, hang on, let's see what date it is.
December 1st?
No. No, I'm in London the week of the 17th, the week of the 24th is Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And then we're at the 1st, so that would be tough. I was thinking maybe the 15th to have some kind of proposal of raming, because I actually think if we had something out there by even January 15th, that would be early enough in the budget process that
Well, I mean,
we could put it out there.
okay.
Okay?
Sure. I mean, for capital planning purposes, I said that they shouldn't be looking at using that money for anything because it should be going through this lottery.
Yes, or a grant process
Grant
or
or
whatever,
whatever you
yes.
wanna call it.
Yep,
Okay,
yep, yep, okay,
all right.
excellent, all right.
So that,
that's-
I'm going to put that up on Thomas's then.
Yeah, you only got 3, what's going on here?
No, that was your goal, I'm just helping you out with it.
Oh,
Okay.
thanks.
No, I actually put that, I said that was one of my goals as well, so.
Okay.
It's already up there.
There you go.
So the information technology plan for current and future needs is in process.
Yep. Okay,
Do you have any idea how that budget would be built for next year? You gonna just keep the budget the same for next year? Because I've been told that that there's not necessarily, the data systems coordinator is not planning to put together a fiscal year 16 budget.
I think that we don't need to have a budget together until, I don't know, January 1st. So I think we'll figure, we'll have something together.
yeah,
It's not a
I
very,
think that's good.
it's not a very complicated budget.
Okay, that's good.
Okay.
All right, Walter. One, I think we've sort of already.
Yeah, we beat that one pretty well.
Yep,
We're all in agreement at that. Yeah, this number 2 one has bothered me over the past 2 or 3 years. There's been a kind of a, melees or where we used to, somebody started to do a volunteer project, people would show up with everything from backhoes to their professional tools, and we'd get something done. And the last couple of years, there's projects that need to be done, and people say, well, I'm not gonna work on that. You know, I'm not gonna do this, I'm not gonna do that. And I think it's a lot to do with the management or mismanagement, if you will, of some of our properties and facilities, and I would just like to see that change somehow. I'm not sure, but we have buildings, buildings need to be painted, roofs need to be put on. People have volunteered to do roofing and then turn around because of an incident and say, well, I'm not gonna put my time into it. If they're gonna spend money over there, why should I volunteer, do things like that? Anyway, that needs to be looked into a little bit, I think.
well, if you wanna, do you want to prepare a list of potential projects?
Yeah, I have submitted lists here before of things that could have been done and should have been done. to the-
I'm not talking about the past, let's
Anything
talk
else?
about the future.
Sure.
Things that, you know,
Yep.
might need to be done, okay?
Um,
I mean, even sometimes little things. By the way, I thought fantastic, that stuff near that oak tree and that picture.
Isn't that something?
Oh, man.
What a picture.
Yeah, what a picture, but I mean, you know, even, that's not a little thing, I mean, you know, but.
That's right.
That was a lot of work, but there's a range of things, there's, you know,
Yeah.
trail maintenance, there's, you know, I mean, let's not just focus on 1 or 2 things that have been contentious, but let's put the list out there if we want to prime the pump further.
Mhm.
I mean, I was looking across the street from me, you know, where that wall collapsed,
Mhm.
and people have made sort of a de facto set
Right.
of stairs there.
Right.
You know, why not, you know, why not have people build some stone stairs there, you know? That, I mean, you know, there's lots of stuff. So I'm happy to look at that.
Okay. I just, and also there's, I mean, I see a little gold rush for this mitigation money and spending in the last year or 2, and a little concerned about it, particularly with the big spending circulating around the old town hall, building like a curatorial building, for example, and I see other buildings sitting around that would serve its purpose, and get the highway looking for a new barn, and then if that's abandoned down there, that's a great historical building with more room in it that could house the Boston Historical Society almost. So we want to look carefully at what we're doing and have most efficient use of our facilities. So I actually think we need a broader planning group to really sit back, take inventory of everything we've got, and then really look at it, what needs to be done.
No, and there's lots of stuff. I mean, there's a number of things on the table there being thought about. There's, yes, the highway barn, I agree. There's the work at the old town hall. I think the library is interested in
Mhm.
expanding, modestly, but expanding. That has its own issues with public water supply. If we decide to go with something that has state funding versus exclusively
Mhm.
local funding, so there's a lot of issues there. And I think you bring up a really good one, which is, okay, we've got use and we've got new use, but what about reuse?
Absolutely.
And I think that's a good point.
There's been a lot of focus on the so-called campus. It's a vest pocket park is what it is, and a very expensive one. I look at the whole center of town as the campus, as the village, and.
Sorry, what do you mean the West Pocket Park? Oh,
Well,
you
it's a
mean
vest, yeah, I mean, they come up with this phrase or this term, call it a campus. They wanted the elevator, the curatorial building.
Oh, right,
It's
right,
up
right,
over
okay.
$500,000 now.
Mhm.
And it's a vest pocket park, what it amounts to, and I think volunteers could do an awful lot of that, and would do an awful lot of that if they didn't see this incredible spending. We haven't spent it yet, but if they see that going on, even I would say, what can I give if this is what they're doing? So we really need to look at that, I hope. Coverage more into Department of Communication, the Board of Health, Conservation, I'm talking that board. Planning Board, ZBA, we should meet, maybe the Conservation Commission will take the lead on that and just talk over things from land use to a number of things. Right now, a bunch of us, quite a few people are particularly interested in the common driveway thing. We feel it's done more harm than good, but maybe not. It needs discussion, for one thing. I've seen permits given out and structures built where, if I was on a certain board, it wouldn't have happened because it didn't meet certain codes. So we need to share a little bit more and coordinate on that so that a prospective developer can't play us off one against the other. Oh, I got a permit here, and then come to us and go to somebody else. So we should sit down and really look at things a little more closely, the lay of the town.
Well, do you think that, what do you think of the idea of having some kind of regular quarterly officers meetings? And if we did 4 a year, we could do each a theme. I mean, we could do
Right.
development themes one
Right.
quarter, we could do finances, obviously.
I
running
think
into-
I think a quarterly officer meetings be very important.
And then, I mean, not to say that there couldn't be other
Yeah.
meetings, but if you have a quarterly officers meeting, and if you had, again,
Yeah.
if we're having a quarterly, you could do it a theme, so one could be development, one could be,
Yeah.
spending town
All for it.
facilities, one could be.
Right.
How do you feel about that, Judy?
She yawns.
Sure.
Okay.
I love more meetings.
Oh, I mean, we could,
What do you think about it?
I think you just need to pre-plan them.
Yep.
And you need to make sure that the people you want there are gonna be there.
Yep, no, and I think that's, I mean, my feeling would be if we had quarterly officers meetings and we had a theme that at least 2 of them should not, I mean, we can call them, but at least 2 of them should not be run by the selectmen, but by
Yeah.
some other interest
Mhm.
holders, like, the combination that you're talking about
Mhm.
here. Or,
Mhm.
Right, no problem.
So, I mean, I see, just from what we've been talking about, I see, obviously, finances, and so on
Mhm.
being one, finances and budget being one. I see, development issues being another. I see town buildings and facilities
Yeah.
being another. So that's 3 of the 4.
Mhm.
Excuse me.
Yeah,
I mean,
that seems-
you don't have to convince me.
Or
Just
maybe,
No, I'm just saying,
You
that
just
those
have to
seem
get
like-
them.
or maybe even like something that talks about the senior and veteran work off and just talking collaboratively about the needs for that. Or,
Yeah, well, that could be done in sort of financing and budget or whatever, but yes.
I was gonna say, the people that are involved in that are here during the day, so,
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know.
And then, one might be, a 4th one might be, sort of, if you will, regionalization, shared resources, and so on. So, I had planning, right? Finances, etc., right? town buildings and facilities, right?
All right.
And facilities. And what was that? I've already forgotten the fourth.
Regionalization.
Yes, sort of, yes, shared resources and organization, because I think we're gonna be talking a lot about.
That was the first town officers meeting I'd ever gone to. It was a lot of presentations, which were very informative.
Mhm.
It was good that it was videotaped, but if there's a way, are these forums ever collaborative at all?
Well, in the past, we'd had them where the only ones that I think were sort of notably collaborative and had, a sort of a set agenda was probably back 10 years ago. We used to do a town officers meeting to kick off the budget
Yeah.
season, and it used to be really jointly given by FinCom and the Selectmen with a large dollop from the treasurer as well. And those were, I think they had a set agenda, and there was, contribution and
We
collaboration
actually
from each
did
of
one
the.
during the day and one at night.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. So anyway, I mean, I think doing that to help focus some of these
Mhm.
things. All
Do you
right.
wanna launch those? Or do you wanna think about that some more?
Let's get through these tonight. We're doing sort of goal setting and so on. So.
I'm moving into implementation. Okay.
Well, I mean, I just, my own feeling is that we can have one, the first one should, or the second one should be, shared resources and organization, building from the fact that, we're doing this public safety study. So we're gonna, that one's gonna happen regardless. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, the only one that I had that wasn't on somebody else's list was to do something about the easements around the old town hall, the easements for the septic for the old town hall, and considering the creation of a public way out of the church driveway. I've mentioned this before, that right now, there are a series of, I think, just potential problems there. The current septic service for the old town hall is not supported by any kind of legal right or easement. The access up the north side, I guess it is, of the town hall to the, to that
Mhm.
back, is not supported by an easement.
But that's private property, right?
Yeah, but there's, I mean, it's used, and people say you
Right.
can use it, but it's not, it's not supported by any kind of
Right.
legal right. And as I've said before, we have a situation in which the house next to the town hall currently shares the septic system with the old
Mhm.
town hall. And again, that is not supported by any,
Mhm.
legal documentation. I really became concerned about this as much as like 7 or 8 years ago, because, and it grew out of the fact that we spent more than $50,000 defending a drainage easement up on Crosby Road that hadn't been documented. And, my feeling is that, with the amount of money, the amount of effort and so on that we're putting into the old town hall, and I think with a willingness on the fact of all interested landowners to come to some, reasonable agreement on it, there's an opportunity to sort that out forever and not do it by gosh and by golly, which is what you have right now. And as I say, when something becomes an issue, it becomes expensive. When,
Mhm.
people are doing it before it's an issue, it can be handled reasonably. So I really think it should be a priority. I don't think it represents any, I don't think it would represent any significant expenditure on the part of the town, but it would sort things, I think it would sort things out so that we wouldn't have problems later on. And of course, we have one landowner who can't transfer land out of an estate that, you know, that has been in probate for,
Yeah.
how many years is that?
A long time.
15 years?
Yeah.
Simply because they can't, you know.
Well, I think we should look into it, get it out, look at all the facts, and see what the neighbors feel, and see what we can do. What will be the benefit of making the driveway to the Church of Town Road?
Well, I think that might be part of the consideration for giving, you know, the easement for, you know, the legal easement for the current septic system, and the fact that it functions as a,
Yeah,
I mean, it functions as parking and everything for the old town hall at this point. It doesn't add much to the expenditure of town, it just adds like that much length to the 13.5 miles or whatever we have, or 80 odd
Right.
miles, that's the incremental cost.
yeah, 42 miles of road.
42 miles, so it'd be 42 miles and 50 yards, you know?
Yeah,
That's,
well, we'll
Well,
look
I
at
don't really agree with this, but
I
you
see
can
what-
certainly look at
We
it.
will have some discussions.
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right. Well, that's good. What are we gonna do, talk about them every couple of months, see how we're moving along?
Mhm.
Let's set a time. If you don't have a time frame, goals aren't goals, right?
well, I think we've said a few things right now that,
Yeah.
we'll establish the quarterly officers meeting, and we will have the
Sure.
first one on organization and so on, which is, you know, as soon as we,
Yeah,
as we finish the study, right?
yep,
You said you were gonna put together a list of,
yep,
you know,
Right.
of projects, and I would encourage you to be inclusive with that, and, you know, not just focus on one or two, but focus on whatever's out
I
there.
have 2 pages of projects that I
All right.
developed 20 years ago, and we're working on them, checking them off, mostly conservation.
Yeah, well, that'd be good. We said that in the immediate run, the Information Technology Committee would be putting together, you know, beginning to put together a plan for current and future needs, and that would feed into the sort of broader collaborative subjects. And I said that I would put together a draft policy for the cultural
Mhm.
funds, and aim to have that
Mhm.
done by mid-December. So I think those are some good first steps.
Mhm.
Okay?
Judy, you were saying, you referred to the CPA, the Community Preservation Act. Were you looking into what other town, like what criteria different towns are using on
I was looking at
plagiarism is
the-
legitimate, you know, in public service?
No, I have like a stack like this thick from
Yeah.
various towns of
Okay.
how their application,
How they give points out?
how
to
they give the
different-
points
Yeah.
out and award everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I will give that all to Thomas.
You know, I actually should have put on here.
Maybe I should do it after Christmas, so you can give it to me as a Christmas gift.
Oh, I could.
One issue we talked about at town offices, I didn't put on my goals though, but I'd like to get it on the agenda, is about some town funding for open space, because we're gonna use up all of our mitigation money from Solomon Pond, from Highland Commons and everything with the Tri-Town project. And we've really done quite well by any standards, but there are a few farms and stuff that we would like to, that we wanna look into, and even this 58 South Street thing. But look, either try
Yeah.
and get the Community Preservation Act enacted, try that one more time, it almost went through last time, or just have an article in there.
I would certainly be in favor of putting the Community Preservation Act up again.
Okay.
I'm a great believer in that.
Yeah, I'll forward that to the Conservation Commission, because we were talking about it recently, wondering what we're going to be doing the next couple of years.
What is their funding match now?
The funding match, oh, it's up, it's over 50%.
Yeah. It's,
Yeah, we've lost out quite a bit, although we've been quite successful at getting the self-help monies anyway, you know.
right, we've had monies to spend
Yeah,
and we've gotten
right,
it.
right.
And you guys have done a great job with that. Yeah, but I think the idea of, you know,
All right, glad to hear
looking
it.
finally to spend some of our own money on
Mhm.
conservation and, you know, development, yeah, and that doesn't mean just buying conservation land, I mean, it's development rights, purchases, you know, it's
Oh,
a
yeah.
broad range of things.
Protecting the land is the
Mhm.
goal, not necessarily own it in the fee.
All right. I think that, that gets us into the miscellaneous correspondence. Is there anything on that that anybody would like to talk about? Then I would like to go briefly into executive session to talk about the Maplewood litigation, but
Did you get the email that I sent around on the
Planning board.
common drive? Did you follow that, Mary?
It's the first item in miscellaneous correspondence.
Just basically, as I look at it, I can see a number of places that the common drive will open up that otherwise wouldn't. And I quoted a couple of court cases there, basically saying that Conservation Commission isn't obligated to make sure that a developer can cash in on every corner of their property. And there was one case where a judge ruled that it was not a taking when one lot could be built on it, even though the developer had planned for 20 lots. I don't know what all the details of that are, but you know, there's something, but anyway, I sent that to the planning board and asking for 10 minutes to discuss it with them, see if we
mhm.
can decide. Tim's got some different ideas, so I'm open to
Mhm.
find out.
Well,
what
as I
they
say, I
got.
think, absolutely, and then if we do a, you know, a sort of planning, development, conservation officers meeting, we can put this on the agenda for that,
Sure.
of course.
On the third thing there, right there.
Yeah, let's talk about that. I emailed back, I mean, I have, I'm just sort of just getting up to speed on this paid sick leave law, and my feeling is I'd kind of like to have a discussion about this, understanding, just, you know, just
Did you email
just to
that
better
to us?
understand it.
Yeah, Copman and Page's,
I saw that,
no,
yes.
she just asked if
I
it was
just
emailed.
asked if she emailed it.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's something that we have to look at and make a determination on early on in the budget cycle, but I don't think it's something we have to put a statement out on this week.
No, June wanted to know if you wanted a memo going out to the department heads for them to attempt to calculate what they think their financial
That would be,
exposure would be.
I think that would be good.
Okay,
I think that would be good.
okay.
Because I don't, you know, I just,
Yeah.
I have no basis on which to say anything about that at this point. I mean, I want to be fair to employees, but I have no idea.
And then Dennis believes, or Dennis and June disagree as to whether they think that it's by selectmen edict that there would be local adoption of this, or whether it's town meeting.
Yeah? That's another one of the things I don't know about.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so that's one of the things we've got, that's the sort of thing we gotta get to the bottom of. Yep.
Do you want me to ask a quick question of Copman and Page about that? Or is that really not so relevant at the moment?
Let me take a look at what
Okay.
they have here, because I haven't, I mean, that's the
Okay.
stuff, this was just passed
Yeah,
last
quickly.
Tuesday, you know, we got. But I think it would be good to get people to give us an estimate, and then in the meantime, I'll read this and we'll
Okay.
decide whether we need more specific. We can
Mhm.
talk about that 2 weeks from now when I'm back. Is that all right?
Yes. Oh, yeah, want that on the 24th then?
Yeah, maybe just put that on the agenda,
Okay.
at least to,
Progress report.
briefly. Okay?
It says, with respect to cities and towns, the law will only apply if duly adopted by the local legislative body and sufficient funds are appropriated.
So that would seem to say town meeting.
Mhm.
And
is where the executive.
And it's got the "and" in there, sufficient funds are appropriated, so if you don't appropriate enough sick time, you don't have to pay it? That sounds kind of odd.
Oh, appropriated by town meeting.
Yes, but it's an "and" condition, so you have to adopt it and have sufficient funds appropriated.
I think perhaps in cities with a mayor and council, Judy, that might make more sense. You follow me? Because, I don't know, it might,
Versus the town meeting.
yeah. But, yeah, I think we need some clarification on those points. All right?
Just not yet, not yet on that, though. You don't want that clarification yet for our town?
I said I would read through this,
Okay.
and then, yeah, then I'd go back to see if we need some more specific advice. All right. And then we'll talk about whether we need to go for more specific advice 2 weeks from now when I'm back. Is that all right? Because that's still plenty early in the session. It'll take people a week or two to.
June thought it was gonna take some time for people to.
Yeah, exactly. So
digest that.
we
Yeah.
get that train going. I'll take a look at things, because if
Yeah.
the answer's out there, or there are, facts that come out in the next FAQs, is what I mean, in the next week or two by the state treasurer or something like that, then,
And we didn't look
may
at the
have an
personnel bylaw, but the personnel bylaw could probably have to be changed to.
Oh, no
correspond,
doubt.
yeah.
Yep. Yes, I mean, that might be the mechanism by which it was done. I know the law passed, I know broadly what it says, but that's all.
Yep.
And it just passed last week. All right, anything else?
What's this Green Community invitation, Judy, 12/3?
It's an invitation, well, 12/3 is when they welcome the new green community members in, but they would like all 123 towns.
Oh, so this isn't a Berlin event, something that you're doing here to,
No, this is
All
the
flyers.
Green Communities Division plans to announce the latest round of green community designations.
okay.
And the Patrick administration would like to celebrate the accomplishments of all 123 existing green
Mhm.
communities, and they would like you to drive into Boston to do that.
Not very green. Take the train.
Last time we went in, we carpooled.
No.
oh, yes, I did. It's incredible.
Incredible. All right.
Yeah, just one other quick thing, and this is for the advantage of those watching us on television as well as me. People ask me, what is the like-kind soil bylaw? Now, I vaguely say, well, if somebody's bringing soil into town, that soil being brought in is going to be pretty much like the place where it's being deposited,
I think broadly speaking, that's right.
broadly speaking. But there must be standards for that. I mean, no two soils, you can't find soils, let's say Uxbridge, and bring them into Berlin, they're not gonna be the same. So it must have to do with certain heavy metals or carcinogens
There are,
and,
actually, that, I could send that to you, and if you'd like, we could post it on the website. There was very good guidance that was given in October of 2013 by DEP
okay,
on that, that
Yeah.
talks about what a like kind
Yeah.
soil is.
so a licensed site professional determines that? or
Yes,
does-
that's correct.
Okay. Yeah, would you send it to me,
I
email
can.
it to me?
And then,
Appreciate it, all right.
And then I'll copy you, and you can even put it on the
Select.
Facebook.
Where would you want it to be? Selectmen as Earth,
Yeah, you could do that just as a resource. Yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah, because it's only about 8 or 10 pages long, and it's pretty good.
I've read the bylaw plenty of times, but I'm just
It
not-
reads better than the bylaw.
Okay,
The state thing
good.
does, yes.
All right,
Yep. Okay,
I'm all set.
anything else?
Nope.
All right. All right. Any other business to come before the open session of the meeting?
I just wanted to point out that we all got an invitation
Yeah.
to Jacob Parmenter becoming an Eagle Scout on December 17th. So
Oh, yes, great.
Right here, I intend to go.
Yeah, if I'm around, I will do that. Yeah, absolutely. That's great. Excellent. All right, anything else? All right then, I would propose that we go into executive session for the purpose of a brief update on the Maplewood litigation. It requires a roll call vote. Andrew, aye.
Bickford, aye.
Boom and I.
Do not attend to.
And we do not intend to return to open session.
Well, you
Thank you.
do, just to adjourn.
Hmm?
No.